Bank2Budget, your data maintenance form. This is a form that allows you to open up various types of data that you've entered into your Bank2Budget application. Vendor listings that are classed as monthly or yearly type of flags. You're allowed to see exactly what's set up and adjust your vendors that way, as well as add and delete and modify categories that you've entered to your field, to your database. And finally, it allows a direct table maintenance to transactions. Sometimes it's necessary to go in and just delete a transaction without being able to do it any other way. This is a form that you should take caution in, and we'll show you how to be cautious, set up best practices here. Let's get started. John's budget, data maintenance. Okay, the first top section here is, of course, you may have seen this in previous videos, startup session series. This will allow you to name your database John's budget. It'll also allow an upload of data into a blank application. A lot of people will start off with the temporary version, and by the full version they'll enter in through here, start session series, upload their temporary data so they pick up from where they left off. View and edit future transactions. This is another form that we went through to allow recording of future expenses. This one here is an interesting link here. If you click this, it'll take and save all your application data out to a C drive, app save support type of directory. If you ever need support, support will ask for a zipped up file of these files so they can replicate your database and try to find out where issues are or something of that nature. So it's a good practice to save your application data whenever you every now and then, like once. The other thing is to save losing your Bank2Budget financial data. It's good to email your application, and that's accessed by that's done by this. You go down to your Start button, right click, Explore, go up to See My App, and you'll notice this Bank2Budget type of file here. What you want to do is probably go ahead and right click and save that somewhere off, like on some users do it at their Yahoo account or whatever email that they've got. They'll save their application. This is to safeguard you against any kind of PC or laptop crash that would lose your application. So it's good practice there. Okay, let's get started. Second section is monthly and yearly vendor listings. If you check the first one, full listing, you'll find that you'll have every place that's ever processed your credit card through your bank, and you're able to scroll through it. If you found out that there is something that you wanted to record an annual event, then you can actually come in here and start it up. A good example is this one here. This is a horse racing park. We want to do this once a year, or John wants to do this once a year. So if you actually check that and click submit, you'll get a chance to revise that data and add to your annual tracking or monthly tracking. Right in here I'm looking for something like pleasure, but of course you know that you're able to enter in anything that you want right here, so we're just going to say horse racing. And we do this once a year. Okay, so now transactions from that vendor will show up in your yearly reports in your reports. And if you go in here and look at vendor and monthly and yearly, you'll be able to see, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the new ad that you've just done, horse racing. And if you find that you didn't want to record horse racing, of course you would just uncheck the include button here, and then you would be able to exclude it. Okay. This third section here is a category edit and place. We're going to take an example so that it kind of makes sense to you on the process on how to do this. Of course, this table maintenance is almost last resort. You should be able to revise your data using the top forms that have been explained previously, but if it comes down to you need to do something within the database and there's just no other way, especially this mass change transaction history, it is convenient for you. As long as you take caution and back up your database before you do anything, you've got some recourse to fall back to, roll back on if anything goes south. Okay? So the first thing is an add a category and delete a category. Through your startup sessions, you may recall this type of thing, but let's take a look at view current categories and come up with a scenario. Okay, this shows everything that is a category that's available to mark, and this actually shows what's in your database along with count of transactions. Let's take an example of medical pet here. John had one pet and now they've got two, so they want to track the pet's medical histories by pet name, which is makes sense. So at this point the new pet hasn't had any medical history, but medical pet is going to be reclassed to a new category called medical Molly, and that's the name of their existing pet. So let's get started on that. Add a new category. Medical Molly goes into the financial medical field. Submit edition only. You'll notice there's some convenience links here we'll go over. We're actually going to go over all this, but in a separate area. From this form you can step up and revise the existing transactions, like 10 transactions from here, but let's do it the simple way first. Okay, so we've added that, and in here you know that medical pet is no longer going to be needed. Okay, so we've added and we've deleted the existing one, and now we need to mass change. Change those 10 transactions from medical pet to medical Molly. Let's do that. Okay, this one here, if you take a look, it's be careful because you're doing a mass change in your whole database there. Medical pet is the existing one, so you may just right click and copy and make sure you've got the correct spelling in that. This extract data is another way of saving your data before you revise it. We've just saved all our data, so we've got good records. And here we are, we're ready to revise the date. Enter the new category. Okay, that is medical _ Molly. And then medical pet was the old one. Okay, so I've asked it to change medical pet, the old category, to medical Molly. And let's take a look at what's going on. Okay, there's medical Molly at 10, and here's your category, and you're done. Okay, the final functionality you have in this form here is a open up your transactions, allowing a deletion or omit function within there. Sometimes you just need to be able to do that, and so if you open this one, it gives you the newest transaction that's been added to the database. It's date sorted here, and most times you see the omit category is turned off, but in this form it is actually turned on. So you have to be careful in this form here and know what you're doing. This actually shows that it's been omitted and that it's in omit state. So this shows that it's been here as you've used your database. This here, let's go down and take a look at some slits here. Yeah, here's a good slit. So a good example of being cautious in this form is if you come in, you say, okay, at Bandera Road I had 109, I need to add that, or I need to adjust, I need to include that. you're going to realize that in sequence here that you've actually included it in 3 separate transactions below. If you add up these 3 numbers here, you're going to get the 109. So that it's very rare that you would want to include this or this deleted column at all. But if you find that you wanted to revise and add it manually, you could actually go ahead and make sure that you delete the entire transaction, which was the adjusted split category function that was done here, and you can just delete them all. Okay, let's back to data maintenance, and let's go back by date. Let's look at that again. Okay, and there it shows that it's deleted, no longer with your application. Adding a transaction to your database. This one here sometimes is needed. If you find something that doesn't come through, most times you do want to funnel any kind of through your bank so that you have convenience of the upload and download here. But if it comes where you need to add something, then it would be added through this type of function here. So let's go ahead and just, just curious, let's say that's a shop. And something needs to be added to the amount. If it stays 0, it won't be added to the database. Okay, and here's the existing transaction categories, and you notice there's that new one there that you got. Okay, this is a present, and I didn't budget for it, so I'm just going to go ahead and submit and close the database. Open all transactions. There it is. Curious. Just curious. Okay, for 1 cent. Okay, by vendor name or by date, you can pull up the same type of form. You can look for various, let's look for Walmart. There's a walmart.com. If I look for a shorter version, Wall, there's a lot of Walmarts. They're not all the same within each store. Allowing you to omit and uncheck the budget column. Okay, in here you can search by keyword like Molly, the dog, and there you go. Okay, powerful form, helpful sometimes. Most times, though, you take the approach that most times you can revise your data within the other forms. It falls into place a lot easier. Here, you do want to make sure you back up your database and be very careful, know what you're doing in this form here. Sometimes we feel that we're asking you to be accountants, but as long as you know what you're doing, and within time, you really realize how your data is coming in and what needs to be added or not added, you'll become experts in this. Welcome to Bank2Budget.